We are going to be the generation that dismantles systemic racism. Powerful words from Martin Luther King Jr.'s granddaughter, who stood in the same place as her grandfather 57 years ago. Yolanda Renee King and thousands of people from across the country walking in the footsteps of those who marched before them, still feeling the same pain of injustice, saying the names of black men and women killed by police officers. This year's march fueled by the national reckoning on race. ABC's White House correspondent Rachel Scott has more from Washington.
They lined up before dawn for a march unlike any the nation's capital has ever seen. Temperature checks and masks, a new generation gathering at the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, where Martin Luther King Jr. told the country he had a dream 57 years ago.
No justice, no peace.
This march is a call to action. Their goal is to turn their outrage into long-lasting reform and to keep marching straight to the ballot box on Election Day.
In sweltering heat, thousands of Americans from all across the country marching to King's own memorial, sharing the pain of those who marched before them.
Shut it down!
I came here from Hartsville, South Carolina.
I came from Ohio for this march.
It's an amazing feeling that we're in Washington, D.C., from Milwaukee to Washington, D.C.
They walked for 24 days, nearly 800 miles, the same clothes still on their backs.
It's been an interesting walk. I mean, we've been called every name you can possibly think.
Tori Lowe set out from Wisconsin before a police officer shot Jacob Blake, telling me America is in a worse place than it was 57 years ago.
We have to get to a point in America where we address the sickness of America, which is racism.
Jacob Blake! Jacob Blake! Jacob Blake! Jacob Blake!
Blake's father here too, speaking as his son still lies paralyzed in the hospital.
Every black person in the United States is gonna stand up. We're tired. I'm tired.
This year's march fueled by this moment of national reckoning on race, sparked by the killing of George Floyd.
I wish George were here to see this right now.
His brother breaking down, his sister taking the mic.
We have to be the change, and we have to be his legacy.
For Allison Williams, that call is a personal one.
I'm watching the tears swell in your eyes. This is very personal.
Yes, I have a son. I had to give him that talk. I had to sit him down to tell him what to do in case he gets stopped. He's been stopped multiple times, and every day I pray that God would put a hedge of protection around him. But it's time, you guys. We've got to vote. We've got to change this country now. We can do it now, but everybody has to take a part now.
Perhaps the most stirring words from the granddaughter of Martin Luther King Jr.
We are going to be the generation that dismantles systemic racism once and for all, now and forever. We are going to be the generation that calls a halt to police brutality and gun violence.
Yolanda Renee King with a rallying cry to the youth of the nation to take up the fight.
We stand and march for love, and we will fulfill my grandfather's dream.